What's going on, guys? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Amigos Code. In this video, I'm going to show you how to integrate Spring Boot, ChatGPT, and OpenAI. So AI now is a big topic, and obviously everyone is switching to AI technologies. And with Spring Boot, they make it so easy for you to integrate pretty much any large language model out there. In this video, obviously, we're going to use one of the most popular ones, which is ChatGPT. And if you have any other thing that you want to learn about AI, Java, Spring Boot, feel free to leave a comment down below so that we can create more content around AI. If you don't know much about Spring Boot, I've actually posted a video about 3 weeks ago on Spring Boot and pretty much covers everything you need to know. So this video is an extension of that crash course. So I'm going to leave a link where you can, if you don't know much about Spring Boot, you can actually go and learn about Spring Boot. And then this will actually make complete sense. Also, if you want to get the GitHub repository, I'm going to leave a link so that you can just clone and follow along. And if you want to gain a certificate, this full course, Spring Boot and springai, ChatGPT, OpenAI, it's available on our brand new platform. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, smash the like button. And without further ado, let's get started. In this section, let's learn how to get up and running with artificial intelligence using springai, which is an application framework for AI engineering. And the goal is to apply to the AI domain Spring ecosystem design principles such as portability, a module design, and to promote using modules as building blocks of applications to the AI domain. So basically, it's a wrapper that allows us to use large language models such as ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is a language model that can respond to questions and compose various written content, including articles, writing code, emails, and a bunch more. So ChatGPT is developed by OpenAI, but we have many others such as DeepSeek, which currently it's causing a lot of trouble to the AI world, and many others. So in this section, let's learn how to use ChatGPT, which is the most popular one out there, to build powered AI applications. So just to show you in here the documentation for Spring AI. So this is basically taken from the documentation that you saw on the slides. We can see that some of the features that it provides in here: support for all AI model providers in here, OpenAI, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Olama, and the types include chat completion, embedding, text to image, audio transcription, text to speech, moderation, and you can see right here, they also have support for all major vector databases in here. So if you want to bring your own data, it's possible, and then you can perform queries upon it. And here you can see this is basically the getting started. And it's quite straightforward. All we have to do is to set the API key like so. And then we pretty much just use the chat client. We say build, and then we basically create a prompt and off we go. All right, let's go ahead and learn how to integrate this into our application. To get up and running with OpenAI and to get up and running with AI with Spring Boot, to get up and running with Spring AI, we need to open pom.xml and then the starter. So here, this button, click on it, and we can go straight to the bottom. And then here they have AI. And if you expand that, you can see that they have a bunch of options available. Azure AI, in here, Olama, OpenAI, Oracle Vector, Postgres ML, and they have quite a lot of things, to be honest. So what we want to do is use OpenAI. So just tick that and then say OK. All right, so when you do that, what it will do is it will add the dependency. So here you can see the dependency is this. So org.springframework.ai, and then Spring AI, OpenAI, Spring Boot, and then starter. But also in here, it adds the dependency in here. Have a look. So the dependency management, and off we go. Now, maybe at some point in the future, you might not even see this. And also you can see the version in here. So as long as you have the dependency and basically it just does its job, you should be good to go. Now, the way that you see whether this is working or not is if we start the application or if you restart the application, this should fail. So you can see that it fails. And now it says error creating bean. And then if you look at the error, it says that OpenAI key must be set. So we have to add the spring.ai and then API key to get up and running. All right. So let's go ahead next and basically set this up. If you navigate to openai.com, what I'm going to do is go to products and then in here, go to API login. So once you do that, you should be able to see this page in here and you can sign up if you don't have an account. But for me, I already have an account, so let me just log in. All right, you should see a page similar to this. Then what I'm going to do is go to the clog settings. And then on the left-hand side, you should see the section called API keys. Click on that. And then in here, what I'm going to do is to create a new secret. So create a new secret. And then here, I'm going to say spring and then boot. I'm just going to give it a name. And then I'm going to give all permissions. So if you want to restrict, you could do that. You can restrict, and then you have to select basically what it's able to do. So you can see if you want to work with audio only, maybe just say write. And then you can see assistance as well, threads, files. But in my case, I'm going to say all permissions. And then the project, I'm going to leave the default and then say create secret. All right. Now, this secret in here, make sure that you don't show it to no one, because anyone with access to your secret, then they can basically do whatever they want. So here, I'm going to copy this. So just copy this, and then I can close this. Now, the other thing is you might have to add your credit card information to use the API. Now, I think you also need to go to billing, and then you need to add some credits. So here I've got $4. I'm not sure whether this is needed, but in case you need to do that, just go and add, I don't know, maybe $5 or so, and then you can start to fudge with the API. All right. So now let me go back to IntelliJ. And in here, remember we had this error in here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hide this and then go to application.properties. So resources, application.properties. And then here, if I say open and then open AI, so you can see here, OpenAI and then key. Now here, I'm going to say $, and then I'm going to basically have curly brackets. I'm going to say open underscore AI underscore and then key. So this right here will come from, so let's go to application. And then what I'm going to do is click on edit configurations and then make sure that this is selected. And what I want to do is in here, if you click on modify options, and then you should see a section. So if I scroll down, so we should see environment variables. Where are you? Environment variables. There we go. Environment variables. Click on that. And then this should come up. Now for environment variable, we want to have this one here. So open, so have a look, OpenAI key. So I'm going to say open underscore AI underscore key equals to the key. Paste that. So this is the key that we copied from the website. And then I'm going to say apply. Okay. And now let's try to start the application. So let's just have a look and see if this works. And hooray, the application now has successfully started and we're good to go. If you have any questions, drop me a message. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. All right, now in order for us to use the chat client provided by the framework, let's create a new Java class. And then here I'm going to say AI and then service. And what we're going to do is we're going to annotate this with @ and then service in here. And within this service, I want to, so within the constructor in here, we are going to, so actually we need to set the private, and let me increase the font a little bit so you can see properly. Oops, just like this. And here I want to say chat and then client, chat client. And the way that we instantiate this is by using the builder. So here we have chat client dot and then builder. And I'm going to say builder. And here we need to say chat client equals to and then builder dot and then build. All right, so from this point onwards, we have access to the client in here. Now let's have a method, and this method in here is going to return a string. So I'm going to say public and then chat, or actually string and then chat. And then here I'm going to say string, and then this will be the prompt that we're going to pass. And now I'm going to say chat client. So chat client dot, and then we need to specify the prompt. So the prompt is going to be the prompt that we receive dot and then call dot and then content. So it's as easy as this. And here I'm going to return. So with this in here, so let me just put this on a new line like this. There we go. So with this AI service now, we can reuse it throughout our entire application. Cool. Next, let's go ahead and use this AI service within the software engineer service. And actually, I forgot to put this final. There we go. And we're good to go. Now that we have the AI service class in here, let's open up the software engineer service. And in here, we can say private, final, and then here I want to say AI and then service, AI service, and then add this to constructor. And now, so if I put this on a new line, so what I want to do is, so if I scroll down, when we insert in here a new software engineer, we want to invoke the service that we've just created. So AI service dot, and then here I'm going to say chat. Now for the chat, we need to pass a prompt. So I'm going to say prompt, and this will give us the chat and then response. I'm going to say chat res, and then here let's create the prompt. So the prompt is going to be, so prompt like that. And this right here is going to be a text block like so. And I'm going to say based on the programming tech stack that, and then here I'm going to say %sign. So tech stack and then %sign as well has given. I'm going to say on a new line, provide a full learning path for %sign. So %sign and then this and then person. So based on the programming tech stack, and then this is the program, and then this is the programming, and then the name has given provide a full learning path and recommendations for this person. Dot, and then we need to say dot formatted, and then here we can pass the software engineer dot, and then get tech stack, comma, and then software engineer dot, and then name. So basically, if I put this on a new line like this, there we go. And oops. So let me format this like that. So essentially, this right here is for this, and then the name is for this. And then here we have the response. And then what we want to do is to save the response to this software engineer and then maybe have a new field called recommendation. So let's open up the software engineer class, and then here we're going to say private and then string recommendation or learning path recommendation. There we go. And then if we basically add this to constructor, and we want to add only to this one in here, okay. And then let's also have the getters and setters. So get and then also set. There we go. And then we're going to get rid of the equals and hash code, and we're going to regenerate this. Next, create, and we're good to go. Now for the learning path, so when the table is created, we actually need to say at and then column, and we need to change the data type. So here I'm going to say column definition, and this will be text. So there is a limit of characters that can be added to the string, like so. So what we want to do is override this so that this could be text basically. All right, and now let's go back to the service, and what we want to do is we want to say software engineer dot set the learning path recommendation, and then chat and then response, and then we want to save. All right, let's reload, and you can see in here that we have learning path recommendation, and then the data type is text instead of varchar. So here there's a limit. Perfect. So this is pretty much it. Next, let's go ahead and test our changes. All right, so to test this, let's go ahead and open up the request.http. And remember, before we have the post request. So here I've got Alex, the text stack. You can change this to whatever you want. So let me just basically send the request, and this should take a while. So it's not going to be as quick as before, because now we are sending another HTTP request to an external client. There we go. So you can see that it took, what is it, 11 seconds? There we go. Yeah, 11 seconds. And now if I basically send a get request, so here we also have get and then software engineers. So let's just send the request, and you can see in here, have a look, learning implementation. To create a learning path for Alex based on the provided tech stack databases. So you can see structure approach along with recommendations. You can see phase 1, fundamental concepts, SQL, introduction to databases, understanding databases, learn about different data types, and you can see that it's given us a full-blown learning recommendation, which is really cool. Database design, and then design principles, and it's quite long actually. OOP, and then control flow, generics, based on what Alex knows basically. And yeah, so you can see that we have successfully integrated AI within our backend application, and you can see how easy and straightforward this was. So also it says join professional networks such as LinkedIn to participate in discussions by following. And then you can see that it says Alex can develop a strong foundation in SQL, yada, 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 and progressively move towards becoming. So you can see that this is quite nice, but you know, if I spend more time, I would basically create a better prompt so that basically none of this is actually seen in here, because obviously if you're exposing an API and whatnot, you don't want this to sound like an AI that generated this, right? So you'd basically give it a better prompt, but I'll leave this up to you to improve the prompt and this API. All right, this is pretty much it. If you have any questions, drop me a message. But as you see here, we're just scratching the surface. So we can do a lot more in terms of audio, text to speech, parsing PDFs and all of that good stuff with AI. And yeah, with Spring Framework, Spring Boot, all of this is possible. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next one. Okie dokie. Hopefully it was fun learning about Spring Boot, ChatGPT, and OpenAI. And as you can see, it's not that difficult, to be honest. And we actually just scratched the surface. There's way more things that you could do, which I'm going to be showing you in the upcoming weeks. This is pretty much it. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Salam alaikum.